What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the stimulus package update, daily news, pretty much everything you need to know about on a daily basis. What's going on in Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market. Senator Joe Manchin says that the Democrats are close to a deal. We're going to hear from Joe Manchin as well as the breaking news story on whether or not he wants to leave the Democratic Party and how close they are to making a deal on the stimulus package, as well as the latest details on what will be in the stimulus package. There's a lot of details coming out on the stimulus package as they try to close the deal here within the next few days. We got a lot of details for you here in this video. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. I will keep you up to date with everything going on here in our country. Remember, the new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. First, we'll hear from Democratic Representative Gottheimer from the Problem Solvers Caucus, one of the leaders of the Problem Solvers Caucus, on how optimistic he is that they will get a deal done on both the stimulus package and the infrastructure package here, and they're very close. Check this out.
Take us inside the room. You have seen what we're reporting about what's in and out, so I want to tick through it. First of all, the cost is now being capped at $1.9 trillion. Free community college out. Child tax credit might be extended for 1 year instead of making it permanent. Paid family leave now 4 weeks instead of 12. Clean energy performance program may be dropped. Is that all correct? What am I missing? You were there.
Well, there's a lot of, as was just said, there are a lot of issues that we're still working through. What is very clear, Stephanie, is we're getting really close and made seismic progress last night and over the last few days, on two fronts. One, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, that's the roads, bridges, rail, the Gateway Tunnel between New York and New Jersey, water infrastructure, broadband, climate resiliency. That bill, clearly the president wants on his desk
Okay, we already knew that,
heads
Josh.
to Europe.
Let's make news here.
I'm getting there.
We already know
and secondly,
the
I'm getting
bipartisan
there.
bill. Okay.
Steph, I'm getting there.
Yes.
Okay. And secondly, the other priority you wanted to know what happened in the room. And secondly, the other obviously big focus is on the reconciliation package, which clearly there's support for. That's something we're going to pass. Something that I've been saying for weeks, so like my colleagues, and months now. That it's got everything from child care, of course, to fighting climate change, to the state and local tax deduction, reinstating that, and getting taxes down in Jersey. There's lots that will be in there that will get done, and we're getting very close. It is not. I won't comment on all the specifics there because we're still negotiating, but the bottom line is we're making great progress, and I'm confident we'll get both bills done.
What are the big issues still unresolved?
Well, you're probably seeing there's still questions about everything from like good things that are out or that are definitely part of this, like childcare and universal pre-K, things that we all support. There's questions about exactly on the paid leave side, as you've talked about, issues around Medicare and what happens there on the Affordable Care Act. So some questions are still being worked through, and some of the specifics that I've read about this morning are not exactly in line with what we've talked about. But again, some of these things are going back and forth, and until you're there, you're not final. But what is clear is, and what was clear in the room last night and what we heard from the president, is that we've got to get both these packages across the finish line, and we've got momentum to do so. So I remain optimistic that we will. As you know, the bipartisan infrastructure bill is something that we've been fighting for a long time. I think what is important, what we heard last night from everybody, is we've got to get a vote on that. Democrats are making that clear. You hear from Republicans who want that passed, is what I'm hearing about back home, but also the importance of getting reconciliation across the finish line, and that's something we've also been working on for months.
When Congresswoman Jayapal talked about negotiations yesterday, she talked about her fellow progressives, Democratic senators, and the White House. She didn't mention House moderates. Where is your role in these negotiations?
Well, obviously, we were at the White House yesterday and having these discussions, and we've been involved. I've been on the phone, like a lot of my colleagues, with the White House and my colleagues in the Senate and the House pretty much every single day for the last months, working on this, and obviously working also with the Progressive Caucus and talking to Pramila. So, we continue to work together, and that's how this should happen, by us all working together.
But how are you working with them? Because I got to tell you, when I hear that progressives are going to the White House and meeting with the president in one room, and moderates are going to the White House and meeting with the president in the other room, That is ridiculous. What kind of party can't negotiate together? When you talk about negotiating, you should be negotiating with progressives. Why is it that the same party can't even get in the same room? I can't imagine having that kind of privilege in my own professional life. You got to hash it out.
Are you sitting down with Fox all the time?
No, but Fox isn't on my team. Pramila Jayapal's on yours.
Stephanie, I talk to Pramila all the time. We all talk to each other all the time. That is just the furthest from the truth that we don't work together. And that's what's great about our party. We've got a big tent. We sit down and talk literally every week. We're engaged with each other. And by the way, just I think yesterday, Joe Manchin met with Bernie Sanders. As you know, I think the day before he was talking to Pramila. We're all working together. We realize we're in the same party and we're rowing in the same direction. And the values we support, the opportunity, whether you're fighting for childcare or fighting climate change, we're all working together. And that's very clear. And, you know, there's going to be broad support for the physical infrastructure package. So at the end of the day, we're going to deliver both these important pieces of legislation for our country, bring our country together and get this done.
Well, it somewhat seems like they're all on the same page. They're all rowing in the same direction, except for maybe Senator Joe Manchin, the one guy who seems to be mostly rowing in the other direction. The Democrat/Dino Democrat in name only, who maybe wants to leave the Democratic Party. That an associate source, quote, source, came out that says that Joe Manchin was considering leaving the Democratic Party and that he had a two-stage exit plan to do so, and that he would change to an independent to leave the Democratic Party. Joe Manchin kind of backpedaled right after and said that no, he wasn't going to leave the Democratic Party and felt threatened. And he wasn't going to leave the Democratic Party. The question is, did he actually say that? Got his hand caught in the cookie jar. His plan was maybe exposed, and now he's just trying to not have a PR disaster. You can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Meanwhile, ever since that debacle has kind of come out, seems like Joe Manchin's trying to play nice with the Democrats since then, actually saying that a deal could be made and they're closer than ever. Check this out. Joe Manchin says that the Democrats near a deal on a price tag for Biden's social bill. Joe Manchin has not ever said that that they're closer than ever. Joe Manchin has not said they've been close for a long time. Well, I don't think he's ever said this. Joe Manchin said on Thursday the Democrats are close to agreeing on an overall price tag for President Joe Biden's ambitious expansion of social programs, centrist Senator Joe Manchin said on Thursday, though there are no guarantees they will reach a deal. Manchin, who along with fellow moderate Senator Kyrsten Sinema has been pushing for a smaller package, which apparently they got, because now the package is $2 trillion or maybe even a little bit less, said he believed Democratic negotiators could settle on a final figure by Friday, which is tomorrow. Wow. That would resolve a key sticking point, though progressives and moderates would still have to sort out the substance of the bill, including what programs to keep, what to cut, and how long to fund them for. Manchin says, quote, we're looking at everything today and tomorrow, and hopefully we can either have a framework, we agree or disagree, and it is either irreconcilable or it is something we can work out, Manchin told reporters on Capitol Hill. I think we're getting close to arranging a top-line figure, he said. President Biden told lawmakers on Tuesday he thought he could get Manchin and Sinema to agree to a figure in the $1.75 trillion to $1.9 trillion range, according to a source familiar with the talks who spoke on condition of anonymity. Now, get this. Kyrsten Sinema's advisors just resigned, literally quit on her, calling her an obstacle to progress. Wow. 5 members of Senator Kirsten Sinema, Democrat from Arizona, dun, 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 her Veteran Advisory Council resigned this week over her opposition to multiple aspects of Democrats' social spending bill. In a letter released today, the veteran hammered Sinema over her refusal to fully support President Biden's Build Back Better agenda, as well as her opposition for abolishing the filibuster, the 60-vote threshold for most legislation in the Senate that has consistently thwarted Democrats' legislative priorities. Quote, "You have become one of the principal obstacles to progress, answering to big donors rather than to your own people." Wow. "We shouldn't have to buy representation from you, and your failure to stand by your people and see their urgent needs is alarming." Quote, the 5 wrote in the letter, which was released by the Common Defense. Wow. They specifically cited various Democratic priorities that could be passed in the social spending bill, including curtailing rising prescription drug prices, boosting employment, and expanding health care. They also cite Democratic efforts to pass voting reforms in the face of Republican voter restrictions enacted in several states, an effort that has hit a brick wall in the Senate due to the filibuster, which is the rule that requires 60 votes in the Senate. As members of your Veterans Advisory Council for years, we're deeply concerned by your failure to acknowledge us or seek our input. Today, we feel as though we are merely given performative titles and used as window dressing for your own image, not as resources to provide counsel on what's best for veterans, the group said. Given your complete disregard for our input and your unwillingness to act on behalf of your constituents' needs, we respectfully resign from your Veterans Advisory Council. Wow. This isn't the first time that Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin have been in hot water, and they both have all-time low approval ratings from their own Democratic Party and voters in their own states. Back in September, the Arizona Democratic Party threatened a vote of no confidence against her as she had blocked tax hikes on wealthy and corporations to pay for healthcare, childcare, and climate policy for this next stimulus package. I'll get to that actually here in a second because that actually relates to the stimulus package right now. The Arizona Democratic Commission actually threatened to give her a vote of no confidence, which actually can mean that if Sinema does not meet the demands of the Arizona Democratic Party, the resolution authorizes state party leaders to issue a formal letter of censure to the Senator Kirsten Sinema, with clear understanding she could potentially lose support of the Arizona Democratic Party in 2024. Now, actually, in this article as of last night, she's still actually posing a challenge for the Democratic tax hike proposal to raise the corporate tax rate from 21% to 26.5%. Remember that former President Donald Trump lowered the corporate tax rate from 35% all the way down from 35% to 21% in the 2017 Trump tax cuts, which actually added around $2 trillion to the national deficit. So 35% all the way down to 21%. The Democrats want to raise it up slightly from 21% back up to about 26.5%. That actually might not happen now because of Kirsten Sinema, apparently. But I'll give you another reason here why in a second. So check this out. Senator Kirsten Sinema, Democrat from Arizona, or Dino, dun, 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 is opposed to raising taxes on corporations and high-income households, prompting Democrats to consider paying for their social package in other ways. The Wall Street Journal reports that Sinema has told lobbyists that she's opposed to rate hikes as a result. Democrats are looking into crafting legislation that excludes these proposals. The Journal reported that proposals related to increasing taxes on U.S. companies, foreign earnings, and strengthening IRS enforcement remains options for Democrats. News that the Democrats are re-examining how to pay for the social spending package comes as lawmakers in the White House are discussing which spending proposals to scale back or drop from the bill in order to shrink the size of the measure. Okay, now here's the thing. So now that the package is going to be potentially somewhere between 1.75 and $2 trillion, we'll just go with that number for now. Everything's changing on a literally hour-to-hour basis. So here's what I'm kind of thinking is that, remember that both President Biden and top Democratic leaders like Nancy Pelosi and a couple other top Democratic leaders have basically confirmed there's going to be another stimulus package. President Biden has basically said, let's agree on what we have, pass what we have now, stimulus package 4, the infrastructure package. Both of those packages we're going to pass now or as soon as we can. Then we're going to come back and pass what we can pass or what is left on the table, as well as new priorities in the next package. We'll call that stimulus package 5, okay? So we're going to pass these two packages now, stimulus package 4, infrastructure package, roads, bridges, drinking water, broadband, internet, everything in that physical infrastructure package. Then they're going to come back for stimulus package 5. We're not calling physical infrastructure package stimulus package because it's physical infrastructure package. Then they're going to come back later for stimulus package 5, okay? So there's going to be another stimulus package after this through the reconciliation process, and they're going to have who knows what will be in there, right? Okay, so there's going to be another stimulus package after that. So the one thing is I don't know if you can really blame Kirsten Sinema for all this. I think this just might be part of the Democratic priority. They're going to want to pay for that next stimulus package. So, because again, if they don't pay for it and they just add it to the national deficit, it won't get the votes to pass it, okay? So what they're going to need to do is they're going to have to hold back some of the corporate tax raises or raises on wealthy individuals to pay for that next package. So let's just say, for example, that this package is 1.75 trillion and the next package is 1.75 trillion, and you basically get to 3.5 trillion, okay? Just as round numbers here, just, guessing at numbers, right? So if we have two 1.75 trillion numbers, right, and we get to the 3.5 trillion, and maybe there's a monthly stimulus checks for children in the first one, and then maybe a forced stimulus check for adults in the next one, and then maybe a Social Security raise in the next one. And then honestly, there's really time for 2 more stimulus packages in the next 12 months, right? So let's say we have a Social Security raise in there as well, which they could do, the $200 per month Social Security raise that they could do with raising taxes on people that make over $400,000. By reapplying the Social Security payroll tax on them as well. They can do all those different things in upcoming packages, okay? So they have 12 months to do all this stuff before the next midterm election in the House and the Senate, okay? They have plenty of time to do all this stuff before the House and Senate go up for re-election. If the Democrats win the House and Senate, then they have just even another 2 years to even do all sorts of other stuff too as well. If the Republicans win one or both of them, then it's a different thing because then they have to agree with Republicans to get anything done, right? It's a different priority then, right? But what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to hold back one of these big tax hikes, like, for example, the corporate tax hike, just as an example here, because this is kind of what the article said or what some new information is coming out is saying, that instead of raising taxes on corporations right now, 21% to 26.5%, they might hold that off just for a few months or however long it takes, a month or two, to the next stimulus package, right? Because they're going to need that to pay for the next stimulus package. Because if this first stimulus package is only 1.75 trillion, remember they had enough tax hikes in there, raising taxes on corporations, raising taxes on the wealthy, the IRS looking into your bank account whole debacle, where doing that is gonna basically enforce the IRS, and they're gonna basically have more tax dollars coming in. They also have leftover stimulus money. They have the Medicare provisions where lowering prescription drugs prices, if that gets done, that's going to save the government hundreds of billions of dollars. All these different things, that was going to be enough to pay for the $3.5 trillion price tag. So they don't want to do all those things in there because they don't want to pay for a $3.5 trillion price tag and only spend 1.75 trillion of it. So what they're going to need to do is not put in all of those tax hikes or pay fors. They're going to need to not do some of them and put them in the next package. Get me? Know what I'm saying here? So what they're going to potentially do is, for example, not raise taxes on corporations just yet, or not raise taxes on wealthy individuals just yet, and just delay it a few weeks until the next stimulus package or something along those lines is my guess. I can kind of see into the future a little bit here because I just kind of do this every day on a day-to-day basis. So a lot of times I can just figure out what they're doing as they're doing it, or even sometimes before they even do it. So yeah, that's gonna be my guess. Is gonna be what they're doing, because again, if they had enough money to pay for a $3.5 trillion price tag, and basically what they're kind of doing is they're just gonna kind of split them in two, because it's just kind of taken a while. I've seen a lot of comments saying, "Hey, it's been a while since they passed the last stimulus package, which was basically at the end of March. The third stimulus check started going out in April, basically." And even President Biden said it's just time to get this package done. So let's just agree on what we agree on. Let's get it done. Let's get everything out the door. And remember, the child tax credits, those monthly checks, are going to end in less than 2 months on December 15th. So they kind of just need to agree on what they agree on, get that done, get that out the door, and get everything passed. Okay. Then get the physical infrastructure package passed. That's going to send billions and billions and billions of dollars to every single state. And that's going to go for many, many years. That's going to create millions of jobs over the course of the next 8 to 10 years. Those two packages will pass. Then they can start immediately working on the next package, and that'll take a little bit of time. They'll start working on crafting the next package. And we all know that the Democrats are going to want to do something big. Well, I mean, nothing aside, we know that this package is big. We're going to have to see what ends up in this package. Is the Medicare benefits going to be in this package? Hearing, dental, vision, hearing aids for seniors. That's really big because those are benefits that go on for, I want to say forever, because it really probably will go on forever, but we don't know how many years they're going to fund it for. It'll probably go on forever, but what'll probably happen is the money is only going to be able to fund it for so many years. I kind of realized that a few days ago, that they probably can't fund it forever, but what'll probably happen is they'll fund it for so many years, and then years down the line, they'll probably just fund it again. But those benefits will probably just go on forever, because I doubt they're going to want to cut it in the future. But those benefits for seniors are just like hugely beneficial. I mean, they say that 75% of seniors do not have hearing, vision, dental, hearing aids, and all these different Medicare benefits. We'll have to see if Medicaid benefits are in there for I believe it's 12 different states, Republican states, that just refuse to opt into Medicaid coverage. So that is one of the things they're kicking around in there. There's a lot of different things that they're kicking around for this different thing. Whether or not there's going to be enough money to add in a fourth stimulus check in there for adults, in addition to the monthly checks for children, 65 million children, called the child tax credits, we'll have to see. They do tend to add in things at the very last moment, and right now they're doing a lot of negotiating. It does look like the 2 years of free community college is going to be cut for now, but that doesn't mean that anything can't be added into the next package, because it's basically what they're going to do is they're going to split this package into two different stimulus packages. They're going to pass this package now, and President Biden says they're going to come back later for the next package here. They're basically just going to agree on what they agree on now, pass this package, and then come back for the next package later on, so that they can kind of there's just too many things to just agree on for this one package. And so they're going to come back later for another package here after they pass this package. So it's just kind of easier to agree on. Instead of agreeing on 200 things, they're going to pass 100 things and then work on another 100 things afterwards. Kind of makes sense. So let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you up to date with everything here on a daily basis, daily news, a stimulus package, and everything you need to know about. So make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also click the share button down below to share these videos with your friends and family if you want to share it with them as well. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is how they're pushing to add $1,400 to $2,000 stimulus checks into the next stimulus package. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.